Chat GPT is everywhere at the moment. This is an AI bot that you can ask questions or ask it to write articles for you. So I thought I'd test its Destiny 2 knowledge and see if it could produce some decent Destiny 2 guides. Plus, I also asked it some key questions. For example, how to fix PvP. Well, today I'm going to run Chat GPT through its paces, ask it to write guides for Iron Banner, Grandmaster Nightfalls, and also how to complete an exotic quest. So stay tuned for the results later, as I'm going to be grading each answer from Chat GPT. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 95% of viewers who watch this week in video games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Well, Chat GPT is pretty impressive. If you haven't seen it yet, then I recommend searching for it and testing it out. There's a few examples there on the homepage, but you can ask it to write something for you based on a topic, or you can give it a block of text and it will reformat it for you. Or for example, I asked it here about Destiny 2, and you can see the results. Given I create a bunch of guides here on the channel, I thought it'd be fun to ask ChatGPT to see if it could create guides for me, and then I'd grade them based on how correct or incorrect they are. Okay, first of all, let's dive into the first guide. So I asked it, write me a guide for Iron Banner in Destiny 2. And ChatGPT said Iron Banner is a special event in the game Destiny 2 that takes place on a rotating schedule. During this event, players can participate in special Iron Banner Crucible matches to earn special rewards. And here is a guide to make the most of your time in Iron Banner. Well, make sure you got a high power level, and before you enter Iron Banner, make sure you have a high power level, and this will give you a better chance of winning matches and earning better rewards. Complete the Iron Banner quest. You need to complete the Iron Banner quest to participate in the event. This quest will give you special Iron Banner emblem and shader, as well as some other rewards. We'll play Iron Banner matches. Once you complete the quest, you can enter Iron Banner matches. These matches are 6v6 and use the control game mode. The objective is to capture and hold 3 control points on the map. You can earn Iron Banner tokens, so by winning matches and completing objectives you will earn Iron Banner tokens. These tokens can be turned into Lord Saladin, the event vendor, for Iron Banner themed weapons, armor, and also other items. We'll use your Iron Banner gear. The gear you earn from Lord Saladin will have special Iron Banner perks. Make sure you use this gear in your matches to gain an advantage, and be aware of the schedule, so Iron Banner events are only available for a limited time. So make sure to check the schedule and plan accordingly. Iron Banner is a great way to earn unique rewards and test your skills against other players. With this guide, you'll be able to make the most of your time in the event. Okay, that's not too bad. First of all, let's have a look at the pros. So Iron Banner is a special event in Destiny 2, and it is on a rotating schedule. It's picked up on the Iron Banner introduction quest, which is very good. It's telling us to use the Iron Banner gear, which is kind of good. It's saying we get an advantage from using Iron Banner gear, which I guess is true through that origin trait, although I was thinking more it was an XP multiplier. Iron Banner is a great way to earn unique rewards, so that is another plus. Next up, let's have a look at the cons. So Iron Banner doesn't rely on power level anymore, so ChatGPT did get that one wrong. We no longer rely on Iron Banner tokens, and also that info there is a little bit out of date. Now we get Iron Banner engrams. So overall, I'm going to give this a grade of B. There is some good info in here, but it does have a fundamental flaw with the mention of Iron Banner tokens. ChatGPT did a good job on the timed nature of the event, plus it talked about unique rewards, so that is all good. Okay, moving on to the next one, we're going to take it up a notch and ask it about our recent exotic quest for Revision 0. So next up, I asked it, write me a guide for how to get Revision 0 in Destiny 2, and ChatGPT said, Revision 0 is a weekly ritual activity in the game Destiny 2 that requires players to complete certain objectives within the activity to earn powerful rewards. So here is a guide on how to complete Revision 0. To start, you're going to need access to the Beyond Light expansion and have completed the Beyond Light campaign. Once you have access, go to the tower and talk to the Drifter. He'll give you the quest to start the activity. Once you have the quest, head to Europa and go to the Kel's Rising landing zone. From there, you can be able to start the activity, and the activity is split into 2 parts, the first being a series of waves of enemies that you must defeat, and the second being a boss fight. To complete the waves, you need to have a fire team of 3 players, all of whom are at least 1200 power level. During the waves, you need to focus on defeating enemies quickly and efficiently, as the timer for each wave is quite tight. After completing all the waves, you'll then be able to take on the final boss, and to defeat the boss, you'll need to use a combination of weapons and abilities, as well as teamwork and coordination. Once the boss is defeated, you'll have completed the Revision 0 and will be rewarded with powerful gear and other rewards. Repeat the quest to earn more rewards, and please note, the power level requirement is subject to change. Check the current requirements before attempting the activity. Okay, well that one didn't go very well, so pros, not many pros to talk about here unfortunately. And then, next up, looking at the cons, it is not a weekly ritual activity, and you don't need the Beyond Light campaign, you need access to Season of the Seraph. But I do like this bit, where it says, once you have access, go to the tower and talk to the Drifter. That one is way off the mark, although nice try. This one is filled with very generic details. For example, you have to complete certain objectives to earn powerful rewards, and you have to defeat waves of enemies and then face a boss. Well, for this one, I'm going to give it a grade of F. This one feels like a random collection of words related to Destiny, but they don't really make sense and couldn't really be considered as a guide for how to get the Revision 0. Nice try, but better luck next time. Okay, next up, this one is very topical given the return of GMs tomorrow, so let's ask it about Grandmaster Nightfalls. So I asked Chat GPT, write me a guide for Grandmaster Nightfalls in Destiny 2. And Chat GPT said, here's a guide for completing Grandmaster Nightfalls in Destiny 2. First of all, form a fire team. So to complete a Grandmaster Nightfall, you will need a team of skilled players. Try to assemble a fire team of players who have experience with the Nightfall and have high level gear. Choose your loadout, so before starting the Nightfall, make sure you got the right weapons and armour for the task in hand. You want to have a mixture of weapons that are good for both close and long range combat, as well as a good selection of armour that provides protection and bonuses to your abilities. Know the Nightfall, so before you start the Nightfall, familiarise yourself with the objectives, the enemies and the mechanics. Knowing what to expect will help you come up with a strategy and make the run go more smoothly. Communicate. Communication is key when completing Grandmaster Nightfalls. Make sure to discuss strategies and objectives with your team before starting and during the run. So play to your strengths. Each player in your fire team has their own strengths and weaknesses, and make sure to play to your strengths and work together as a team to overcome the challenges. Be prepared to die. So Grandmaster Nightfalls are very challenging, it's likely you're going to die multiple times. Be prepared to die and don't get discouraged. Practice and adapt. So the more experience you have running the Grandmaster Nightfalls, the better you will become. Take the time to practice and adapt your strategies to improve your chance of success. And use your powers, so use your supers, grenades and class abilities to their fullest potential. And it can be the difference between a quick, easy run and a long, grueling one. Be patient, so be patient and don't rush through the Nightfall. Take your time and make sure you're prepared before engaging enemies. And finally, have fun. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun with your friends and enjoy the game. That is a very, very important lesson there at the end. It's important to note that some of these tips may not be feasible in the current state of the game. Some weapons, mechanics and Nightfalls might not exist anymore. It's always a good idea to check the current state of the game and adjust accordingly. I don't know about you, but I think this one is pretty good. So looking at the pros, it's telling you to form a fire team, especially players with experience, very good. It's telling us to choose our loadouts very carefully, also good. It's pretty accurate when it comes to knowing the Nightfall, and good point about communication, always very useful when going into Nightfalls and also especially during Nightfalls too. So this is possibly the best one. Be prepared to die. You will die multiple times. That is very accurate actually. And be patient and have fun. I think this one is my favourite. Have fun. Have fun with your friends and enjoy the game. And I think that's something that we all forget a little bit sometimes when we play Destiny 2. Looking at the cons, not many cons here to be honest. It's pretty generic. Although to be honest, I wasn't very specific with my question anyway. The only knock I think I could probably give it is use your powers. Where it says use your supers, grenade and class abilities. Overall, I'm going to give this an A grade. This one is a passable guide for doing Grandmaster Nightfalls in Destiny 2. Okay, finally, I'm going to ask it the big question, how to fix PvP. So I asked Chat GPT, tell me how to fix PvP in Destiny 2. And Chat GPT said, well, fixing player versus player PvP in Destiny 2 would likely involve making changes to the game's balance and mechanics, as well as addressing issues with matchmaking and connection quality. Some specific steps that could be taken to improve PvP in the game might include adjusting the balance of weapons and abilities to make them more fair and less overpowered, improving matchmaking algorithms to ensure that players are matched with opponents of similar skill levels, addressing issues with lag and network connectivity to improve the overall quality of the online experience, and adding more variety to the PvP game modes and maps to keep things fresh and interesting. Addressing issues with cheating and hacking to ensure fair and a level playing field for all players, and increasing the communication and feedback with the community. Well, it's an important note that this is a complex task and it's dependent on the game's development team and the feedback they receive from the community to make the game more enjoyable for all players. Okay, that one is pretty good. This one isn't a guide, although it is just answering a question for me. Overall, I think it is not too bad at all. First of all, looking at the pros, it's picked up on the sandbox balancing in the game, plus highlighting the matchmaking and the connection quality, and it's suggesting improving matchmaking algorithms to ensure that players are matched with opponents of similar skill levels, which I don't really think the community will like because that sounds like SBMM to me, but at least it's trying. Adding more variety to PvP game modes, yes, please, tick. Addressing issues with cheating, very good. Now, I like the fact at the end it's stated, it's important to note this is a complex task, and it's dependent on the game's development team and the feedback they receive from the community to make the game more enjoyable for all players. And it also is being a little bit cheeky there by saying increase the communication and feedback with the community. Cons, not really many cons to pick out there. So overall, I'm going to give this a grade of B+. So, as I said before, this isn't a guide, and it has picked out some great points. Although, I would like to point out here, just in case, fixing PvP isn't as simple as typing something into a chatbot AI, and while it can gather good ideas, implementing them, as the final statement says, is much, much harder than it seems. Well, overall, when it comes to writing Destiny 2 guides, not too bad. So I think the Grandmaster Nightfall guide was probably the best of the lot, followed closely by fixing the PvP question. Revision 0 guide wasn't very good at all, but perhaps that was too recent information for Chat GPT. Well, then we had the Iron Banner one, that wasn't too bad, although there was a few key wrong details, which made it unsuitable as a guide. Well, I don't think I'm going to be using Chat GPT anytime soon, but it was fun playing around with the guides and creating them and testing out Chat GPT. As I mentioned before, check out Chat GPT and see what it can do for you by typing in some questions and some queries, but make sure you check the quality of the results. Given we've seen here, it can broadly talk about topics, but when you get into the specifics, it does fall down a bit with the facts. Well, let me know in the comments what you think about writing Destiny 2 guides with Chat GPT. And that is it today for this video, a little bit different than normal. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, you could check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.